Welcome, students, to our Philosophy 101 seminar. Honestly, I'm absolutely thrilled you're here. Today's explainer is going to completely demystify the brilliant mind of one of history's ultimate heavyweights, Aristotle. We're going to break down his foundational building blocks of reality. It's a fascinating journey, and frankly, it will literally change the way you look at the physical world around you. So here's our syllabus for today's session. We'll be covering the blueprint of logic, Plato versus Aristotle, substance, matter, and form, the four causes, potentiality and actuality, and finally, the unmoved mover. Let's get right into it. All right, section 1, the blueprint of logic. Basically, how to think. Okay, before we can even touch metaphysics, we need a reliable tool to actually find the truth, right? Documented all the way back in the 4th century BC, Aristotle is literally considered the father of deductive reasoning. You know, he famously invented the syllogism. It's basically a method of arguing where you use two statements, or premises, to prove that a third statement is true. So if premise 1 and premise 2 are valid, your conclusion, like in this classic case that Socrates is mortal, is a logical certainty. Boom. He gave us the absolute ultimate formula for valid thinking. Moving on to section 2, Plato versus Aristotle. Where exactly is reality? So, now that we've got the tools for valid thinking, we really have to address Aristotle's massive, fundamentally game-changing disagreement with his own teacher, Plato. Now, Plato believed in a divided line, right? He thought that true reality consisted of eternal, transcendent forms existing far, far away in some separate ethereal realm. But Aristotle, he brings philosophy completely down to earth. He argued that, hey, if forms were purely transcendent, just existing completely apart from matter, they would have absolutely zero effective power to move or order physical matter right here in the universe. It just doesn't make sense. Instead, Aristotle championed immanent forms. These are forms that exist within the physical objects themselves, right in front of us. Which brings us to section 3, substance, matter, and form, the building blocks of reality. Let's see how this actually builds our understanding of the everyday objects right in front of us. To systematically study the world, Aristotle had to create a highly specific technical vocabulary. Basically, he separated the main subject, which he called substance, essentially anything that actually has being, from the categories. Categories are just the qualities or predicates applied to that subject. So think about the phrase, man is wise. The man is the core substance, the anchor, and wise is simply the category describing it. This distinction right here, it's the absolute foundation of ontology, or what Aristotle called the science of being. The crucial point to grasp here is that in Aristotle's system, you can't just have floating, ghostly qualities. You have actual physical things. And this brings us to a massive, intimidating-sounding word that's actually a super simple, elegant concept, hylomorphism. It's derived from the Greek words for matter, hule, and form, morphe. It's simply the doctrine that absolutely every particular thing in the physical world is a composite of both matter and form. Actually, scratch that. It's more than a composite. They are entirely inseparable. In Aristotle's universe, there is absolutely no formless matter and no matterless form. They are a total package deal. We can illustrate this using a really simple analogy. Imagine you're standing in front of a beautiful bronze statue. The matter, the literal stuff it's made of, is the bronze itself. But the form, the thing that makes it a stunning statue rather than just a heavy, useless lump of metal on the floor, that's its specific shape and intended design. The form is immanent. It's living right there inside the bronze. Okay, moving right along. Section 4, the four causes, how things come to be. So now that we know what actually makes up a substance, we have to ask the next logical question. How does it change or come to be in the first place? To answer this, Aristotle maps out 4 distinct causes for literally everything in nature. Let's walk through the example of a simple clay pot. First, you've got the material cause. What's it made of? Clay. Easy. Second, the formal cause, its intended shape or design. Third, the efficient cause. Who or what actually brought it into existence? That'd be the potter. And finally, we have the final cause, or what Aristotle famously called the telos, its ultimate purpose. Like, why does the pot even exist? To hold water. And guys, Aristotle highly, highly emphasizes that this final cause, the telos, is the absolute most important cause of the whole shebang. Section 5, potentiality and actuality, the drive to grow. Now, this built-in purpose naturally leads us directly to how things develop over time. Aristotle states that every natural entity possesses an inherent potentiality moving toward a specific end. Potentiality is just the possibility, right? It's the hidden capacity to become something greater. Actuality, on the other hand, is the fully realized state. Think of a tiny little acorn. By its very nature, its internal immanent form, it has the potentiality, the inherent drive, to become an actualized, massive oak tree. It is literally pulled toward its final cause. What's really brilliant here is how Aristotle connects this heavy metaphysics directly to our daily ethics. Just like a little bulb has a telos to blossom into a beautiful flower, you and I have a telos too. Aristotle suggests that a truly good human life, what the ancient Greeks called eudaimonia, is one where a person flourishes by actualizing their own unique human potential. Our moral virtues, our intellect, our daily habits, developing these is exactly how we step up and move from mere potential to our absolute highest actuality. And that brings us to our final stop, Section 6, the unmoved mover, the first cause. So, if everything in a universe is constantly moving from potentiality to actuality, we gotta ask, what started the very first movement in the cosmos? Think about it. It's the ultimate domino effect. Logic completely dictates that in our sensible world, nothing can cause itself. If every moving thing is moved by another thing, and that by another, well, we risk falling into an infinite regress. And without a first cause, there'd be no first effect, meaning there would be absolutely no subsequent effects at all. The entire universe would just be frozen, totally static. But look around. Things are clearly in motion. So logically, there just has to be an origin point. To solve this massive logical paradox, Aristotle deduced the necessary existence of what he called the unmoved mover. And the crucial takeaway here is this. The unmoved mover is an entity of pure 100% actuality. It has zero unfulfilled potential, absolutely no matter that could undergo change, and is completely perfect. Now, it doesn't physically push the universe like a billiard ball. Rather, it initiates all motion by drawing everything toward it through love and desire. It acts as the ultimate, divine final cause of all reality. Pretty mind-blowing, right? Well, we have covered some truly incredible ground today, from the strict logic of syllogisms to the matter and form of a bronze statue, all the way up to the unmoved mover of the entire cosmos. As we wrap up our seminar today, I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought to chew on. If all natural things have a telos pulling them toward greatness, what is your inherent purpose? What amazing potential is just waiting inside you to be actualized? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll see you all next time.